to me, that's what Kalindi gave me with these mushrooms. He gave me the ability to have the hawk eye. You know what I'm saying? That day when he said, the Metu Neter is not a language, he said it's a teaching that comes off the wall of the pyramids at 20 grams of mushrooms. I said, oh, excuse me? 20 grams? They come off the wall? He said, yeah, whole class. I said, I gotta go to Egypt? He said, nah. He said, you can get one of the papyrus for $9.99 and put it up there on the wall. Drop the mushrooms, and if you can make it back over there, open your eyes, it'll be right there for you. If you can make it back over there, open your eyes.
Why they keep on calling my name? Jill.
I forgot, I'm always talking about astrology and like mushrooms and things like that, and relationships and sex and magic. And I was like, okay. Then he was like, yeah, it's gonna be on April the 10th. And I was like, April the 10th? And that's the day Baba Kilindi became an ancestor. So today we are celebrating those who knew him. We just made it International Baba Kilindi Day, right? So they always making something up for their heroes. We gonna make something up for our heroes, right? And I just said, man, all I can do is come up here and tell stories and then do Q&A. Because I was like, even this morning, I was like, I just wanted everybody who knew him longer than me to come tell me the story. I really love hearing about masters from other people and their interactions. You know what I mean? Like they could write a book, they could do such and such. He was a super legend in the martial arts and in the mycology, but he also had 3 wives. And we suffer from problems in our, how we do relationships. We just not the best. We just don't have the best reputation, you know what I'm saying, in our culture as having relationships. And I was like, bro, how was you pulling that off? And I wanted to know about relationships. He was like, well, you know, the substrate over here and the spores. I was like, I get that from somebody. You know, he was like, with the martial arts. I was like, I could get that. I was like, you keeping this real close to you, right? And so when he transitioned, I was angry at him. You ever had an answer? You ever had like somebody close to you that was teaching you, and then they just passed? You get angry? I wasn't angry at death. I was angry because of the physical, you know what I'm saying? But it showed me my own limitations. Because we know that we can reach out in the spirit world and contact whoever, whenever, from wherever, bring them right to our face. And I was like, yo, you teaching real hard right here. Because I ain't really want to learn that lesson at that particular time. Because sequence of events. He came down right here on this stage. He did his last lecture on February 28th of last year, and then February 29th, he taught his last grow class. And we was like, yo, we gotta make some noise. Baba Kilindi gotta come back and show us how to grow these mushrooms. And he was like, all right, I'll be back in April or May for the advanced mushroom grow class. So I went into kid mode. Like, you said you was coming back to teach the next class. He was like, I am. I was like, how you going? And I just stopped talking crazy and remembered it was just me. That's the half human side that we all have. You know what I'm saying? Even though we can study death, study ancestors, things like that. It was important for me to get that particular lesson. And since that day, in 365 days, like every question that I had for him has been answered. How to grow mushrooms, how to go to the advanced level, the relationships piece, what not to do in relationships. That's really how he taught me. He was just like, hey, don't do this. This ain't gonna work right for you. You know what I'm saying? Do this right here, or finding out things that, like very personal stories about the brother have just been life-changing. And I just wanted to keep doing the work here in Atlanta because I really was not clear on the power of entheogens and mushrooms and the role that it played in our magical community until he turned me on. You know what I mean? Like turned me on, then turned it all the way up. And so I guess one thing I could say is whatever you really, really passionate about, it's gonna turn that flavor up. Because whatever you're really passionate about is your particular lane to your own magic. So we practice different styles. There's probably about 6 or 7 styles in this room right now, but they all are adaptable for us to add on to. They're not supposed to stay the same and stay redundant. It's okay for new sigils to be created, for new rituals to be created, as well as stick to the script of what works. You know what I mean? Like, contamination is contamination with mushrooms. You can't stop that. You got to clean up if you're gonna grow them. If you don't clean your space before you get into a ritual, something could infiltrate that. You can't just be like, well, it's 2021, I ain't gotta go through that. Yes, you do. One of the reasons why I picked this shirt today is because Noble Drew Ali talked about in a prophecy about one day a little girl was gonna go home and tell her mama, I saw a man. What makes a man? And then we got the three, the young kings back here, so this is an important class for y'all. What makes a man? So sometimes you may see a situation, how much money you got, you may be like how good you can fight, what your physique looks like, but the whole thing is about being honorable, right? And so for me today, I just want to speak on an honorable man named Kilindilyi, right? To me, that was like the number one example of how he was honorable and standing for what he stood for. He was not wavering. Like when he was like, I'm pro-black, I'm pro-African, I'm pro-family, period. There was like zero compromise. And that's the key to being honorable, is you can't go around compromising yourself. You can't go around compromising yourself for other people or even asking other people to compromise. And because that's how we got this sellout society right now. Everybody want a bag. That's not honorable. You're not a man like that. Age don't make that man. It's the honor that you earn from one of the talks that he talked about was ancestors. And we had a blog talk show. If anybody want to listen to it, he did 13 3-hour blog talks with us. That's on, you just type in Kilindilyi, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's gonna come up on blog talk. And he was asking about ancestors, and right off the gate, he was like, everybody, just because you die, you don't deserve to be an ancestor. I was like, well, I knew that because I got some ancestors that I'm not putting on my altar. So, but somebody with your prowess, go ahead and speak on that. And he was like, well, what were you doing here on this physical side to deserve to be on somebody's altar? That's like in the first 2 minutes of him talking. And it just got in my mind to be like, yo, is everybody that's on your altar, are they honorable? Or do you just got jokers up on your altar just so you can like flex? Be like, oh, I got so-and-so on my altar, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Now, I'm not talking about like necessarily the deities that we have, but I'm talking about like ancestors that we have. Why would we have someone on our altar? The Bible said that was a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? That's messing up the feng shui of your altar. You want to have good feng shui. Not that everybody has to get along, but everybody needs to be a contributor. To me, an altar should be based on honor. When you see my altar, you're gonna see honor. You're like, oh, this person deserved this spot. It ain't just because you're a blood relative. Like, I'm not big on the whole ancestors known and unknown, because I know I got some raggedy ancestors. I got some people I know right now that'll damn sell me out quick if they can find some shit on me. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, oh, he the ancestor, So you won't make it as an ancestor. They ain't gonna call your damn name out neither when you die. And I ain't gonna pull nothing out for you. You know, you are doing mushrooms at a higher level. Is very important of the surroundings. So I like to put things, because I talk about relationships, I like to talk about sex. So, and it ain't too early for them, setting is like the atmosphere. What's the atmosphere that you're about to go into this ceremony? And the atmosphere is as important as the actual ceremony itself. How do you set up this atmosphere so somebody can have this somebody can have this transformational dialogue with a interdimensional technology that's going to remind them of where they come from. Because according to the Bible and according to our other scientists, we come from magic. We come from before the stars. We come from before time. And then we sent the mushrooms here as a mnemonic memory device. Because we got down here, big shouts out to Malachi York, he introduced me to the spell of Kingu, which means I'm asleep. You sleep to what? You know what I'm saying? Like anything right now, we're talking about the woke. This is the woke this, the woke that. That has to come out of who introduced us to the spell of Kingu. Like you got to wake up from the sleep that you in. Ghost, spell, just so many different words that show that our consciousness has not evolved enough for us to take control of our own destiny, for us to truly be spiritual sovereigns, physical sovereigns, emotional sovereigns. Like everybody pushing our buttons so quick that anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? Because we just let our mind be manipulated because we sleep. That's when you're the most impressionable, when you are up under a hypnotic suggestion. When you listening to things like not neuro-linguistic programming, what is it we listen to them at night? Come on, the binaural beats. When you're listening to those at night, they can program you like a mother who has a child, she knocked out, and all of a sudden the baby making noise 5 houses away, and all of a sudden she going downstairs like, I heard my baby, he needs some help. How'd you hear that? I'm sleeping like a lamb. Next thing you know, you wake up, she done got the baby. Like, I didn't hear nothing. Well, the baby woke me up, so you need to put him back to sleep. Stuff like that. We have different levels of hearing, just like we have different levels of abilities. And that's one of the things that Baba Kilindi opened me up to. It was like I had been collecting technology and devices and spell work and rituals from other folks and self-mastery through the astrology. But it wasn't until that psilocybin came in there and was like, hold this right here. Hold this. First 5 grams was like, close your eyes. And I closed my eyes and they was like, this is reality. They was like, open your eyes. And I opened my eyes and I was like, fuck that. And I closed my eyes right back. I closed my eyes right back. It was just like, hell yes. Wow. So I thought it was a game, right? So I opened my eyes back up. I was like, shit. I closed them right back down. So even though I believe now that we should have really, you know what I'm saying, crazy artwork and things that represent our culture when it's time for us to do our own ceremony so we can remember, like, why are we looking at this? Like, if you're paying attention to me, your subconscious mind and your unconscious mind already has this in your DNA. So the more, that's why I was like, I'll do it. Because I was like, I get to speak and help try to activate somebody's DNA who ain't paying attention. So if you're looking at me, you still got to see this. You see the speakers, but like, what's going on? So when people ask me this when they do mushrooms, they be like, so what's the symbol right here mean? I said, you tell me tomorrow. You tell me tomorrow, because the answer is inside of what you finna take. You finna put the answer in your mouth. But the problem is white people. And y'all. Because when you got a white person, wrong information, and then y'all watching too much of it, it's bad for the brain. It's bad for everything. It's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? And they want you to be Woodstock. Party. Hey, let me get high. Let me use this. Let me take what the indigenous people gave me, and they want to, you know what I'm saying, just make me feel good. Ooh. Well, heroin ain't that old. You know what I mean? So they say, well, Iboga, Ibogaine is the African way that we can cure people from heroin. Is anybody, please raise your hand if you know of a heroin addiction problem going through Africa 1,000 years ago? 200 years ago?
50 years ago.
Last week? Come on, you way smart. You when you research, you ain't heard of no heroin addiction problem going through Africa that Ebola needs to heal? That's all you find, though. That's all you find. That's what Abby Ilias taught me. You know, remember Abby had the first finger cut off? Abby said the victor holds the pen. So the victor gets to write down that Ibogaine is attached to heroin addictions. Now we can take Ibogaine and get off of heroin. Anybody in here on heroin? Anybody call themselves African? Related to African? You know what I'm saying? Got people from Africa. Well then, what was it used for us before you tried to claim it and hijack it and say it was used for something that ain't got nothing to do with us? it was for us to get in contact with our ancestors. No matter what, we was always trying to get in contact with our ancestors. We see a movie, The Black Panther. Did any of y'all know that the cats from Disney or Marvel had sent somebody to Baba Kilindi's house to sit in his den and ask him about the mushrooms? The purple flower in that, what's your boy name? Black Panther. Not T'Challa. T'Challa. I want to say his real name. T'Challa, not T'Challa. You know how niggas do. You know, like they know your real name. You know, such as Denzel. But Morpheus. We don't even call him by his real name. Oh, you know Morpheus. Morpheus. So T'Challa is eating this, but that was in their lineage. And that's the other thing we done got away from is lineages. We out here just want to just skip around and hop around. But when you skip around, lineages are honorable. That's how you can tell that you be honorable. Because the most ancient way for you to ever get into an esoteric system or secret society or sacred society was you had to be honorable. You had to express humility. That's why they talk about the Shaolin monks sweeping the floor. Everybody's in 36 chambers. His peoples get killed, he comes in, he want to go to the 35th chamber so he can get revenge. What they say? Brother, you got to haul some water, you got to chop some wood, you got to sweep some stuff up. I want revenge. And what does that story remind us of? Well, first off, he moving without honor, because if he was going to get revenge, don't bring these monks into it. Just go ahead and do your business. If that was the case, the monks was like, if you want to get him back and you want to use our system, you're going to have to go all the way through 35 chambers. That's what we do here. You don't want to do that? Remember what happened when he bust up in there and all they were doing was the breath work? Everybody's in the home. He ran up in there and was like, I want the secret teachings of the, they was like, psh, get him with the Fajing. And they didn't get up for meditation. It's like, He was like, shit. Seen a palm print on his chest, and he was like, well, this ain't gonna work. Where do I go start? So that's the thing for us is we have to know how to use discernment and make people qualify before we start ingesting their information. You got to qualify. I was asking the little bros over there about basketball earlier today. You got to qualify and say, what have you done? What lineage are you from? And let me hear some of the lingo that qualifies you before I start getting in line behind you or saying, help me with this. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody knows I'm big with my family lineage. That's because over there. But he qualified because of how he teach. His damn, because I got some other bloodline, I would not follow to the door or to the bathroom. You know what I mean? Because you know, they in your lineage. Nah, there's a difference between lineage and bloodline. A big difference between lineage and bloodline. Because you could have, it's thousands of examples. We didn't even get into that, right? The lineage piece and how to discern is, I think, one of the biggest things that we need right now. And that's why I really was rocking with Baba, because he was who he said he was, and then he proved himself. What's the 3 ways you know something? Experience, evidence, and reason. You put the mushrooms in your mouth, you have all 3. You have experience, you have evidence, and then you are the reason. I look at it as a sequence of events. How did it get there for me to find it? What are you doing for magic to come to you? What were you doing for an opportunity like that for you to experience a technology that's from another dimension? What kind of thing are you vibrating on? Just for you to be in this room, listening to this conversation, watching it on recording, what kind of conversations were you having, or what was your regular journey in life that you all of a sudden just came and just looked down here and seen it? I don't know if it was Rashid or somebody the other day was like, Baba Kilindi attracted us. I'm always talking about, I love law of attraction, sort of, not as much as I used to. But I'm always, people talking about, I attracted this, I attracted that. Have you ever thought about somebody attracted you? You see a master and then you just be like, wow, wow, wow. What if he's wowing about you? Because it's 3 things when we get these lessons. And if you don't remember nothing else today, I don't know how much time I got left. But we must start upgrading these things. So remember how they always talk about, watch everybody can finish this sentence. When the student is ready, say it again, when the student is ready, what's the rest of it? You don't know. There's a part at the end. When the student is ready, that's 1. The teacher will appear is 2. Part 3 is with the lesson. With the lesson. There's 3 parts in every relationship. There's me and the teacher. But then other than the teacher, there's the, that's what I came for. This is how you can really tell a really good teacher or a really good master student. If you come to the teacher and you just come in so you can take selfies and swing on their nuts, you a regular do-boy, do-girl. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not going to get anything. But when you come and say, I'm here for the lesson, and then you even push the teacher to go even further, or they got to dig deep into the bag to satisfy you, that's the transference of the lesson. Where did Kalindi get it from? Remember he talked about, he was like, yo, I had to lay in the grave for 3 dark moonless nights with my teacher to get my final degrees. Ooh. That means you died and you thought I was gonna quit. You gotta give me them lessons, player. You gotta still give me these lessons. Well, you're gonna have to lay down in the grave to get them. Let's get on down here. Oh, see all in about 4 days. That's lineage. Like, that's attractive to me. We have to start establishing our presence with our ancient tools and technologies so we can shut that stuff down. So they can see the real thing. So when they even are approached by some shenanigans like that, they can just be like, yeah. That's like my dog, I got a pit bull. That joke don't eat vegetables. You hold a piece of luncheon meat, throw it in the air, watch what happens. That joke come all off the ground. Before his feet hit the ground, he ate the whole thing. Throw a string bean up in the air. He watch it hit the ground.
Probably play with it for a little bit.
What's that?
Yeah.
Then look back at me like, is something coming with this? And just go with something. Are you gonna mix this with rice? We have to be able to be just like that pit bull, get back to our instincts. How do we get back to our instincts? We have to kill our minds. Our minds is the problem. When they have a tornado or a hurricane or a typhoon, they always in the news, they say, 842 people killed. How many dogs, monkeys, oxes, rabbits, mules, and sheep? 0. Wait a minute. So how did all the animals make it away from the typhoon, but the intelligent human, 800 of them lost their life? Because we think too much. We all in our heads. And that's why I really like what I do in holding space for people and watching their mind dissolve. So the war on drugs gave us speech problems. Because they was like, oh, get high. First thing they think of is your grandma. Boy, girl, don't you get high. Don't you get high. That's a terrible thing for you to be getting high. You can't get no job by if you're getting high. Who am I getting the job for? Whole nother conversation. Why we can't get nothing done? Because our women is in the devil's kitchen. She was in our kitchen, then we be eating our meals, but we ain't. Now I'm getting off track. Let's get back. What was I talking about? We constantly are looking at things from the angle of the turtle, right? Standing beside the giraffe. Geographically, they are in the exact same place. Both of them are telling the truth. But which angle would you rather be at? The giraffe. Because the giraffe is high. After the giraffe, I like to have the angle of the hawk, or the falcon, or the dragon, or the phoenix, or the actual meteor. Or I want to have God's angle, but still we can't do that because if God is within you, you can't be saying like, well, he's up there and I'm down here. So that's why we pick up these spirit animals, right? And we talk about shape-shifting and stuff like that, but we are now afraid to get high. So now people come and they want to take 5 grams of mushrooms And they be like, all right, let me take this crystal in here with me. I said, what's that crystal do? She said, this grounds me. I said, what you come in here for? I said, we ain't here to get high tonight. You finna get high. High as giraffe coochie. That's at least, what's that, about 6'4"? You know what I'm saying? Giraffe. Because you tall, you probably look up at the giraffe, you like right there. You know what I'm saying? So what do we want to be? Do we want to continue to talk about our angle of oppression, how somebody doing something to us like the turtle? Or would you rather be the giraffe and have the vision and say, that way? It's clear right on the other side. Right here, it's clear. All right, bruh. It's one step, it's two steps from, well, maybe about 6 or 7 yards for me. It'll take you maybe half a day. But I promise you, if you just keep straight, you're going to get this clarity on the situation. But then guess what? If you stay a turtle, you're going to keep his vantage point. And now you got to keep depending on the giraffe. And to me, that's what Kalindi gave me with these mushrooms. He gave me the ability to have the hawk eye. You know what I'm saying? That day when he said, the Metu Neter is not a language, he said it's a teaching that comes off the wall of the pyramids at 20 grams of mushrooms. Oh, excuse me? 20 grams? They come off the wall? He said, yeah, the whole class. I said, I gotta go to Egypt? He said, nah. He said, you can get one of the papyrus for $9.99 and put it up there on the wall. Drop the mushrooms, and if you can make it back over there, open your eyes, it'll be right there for you. If you can make it back over there, open your eyes. That's the thing, right? I do want to advise everybody in the room, for those of you who want to get to 20 grams of mushrooms, take your time. Take, one more time, what I say? Take your time. It's not no marathon. That's the big thing. It is also not marijuana. So now I'm opening up for Q&A because I'm just going to get into questions people may have about mushrooms. It's nothing like weed, okay? Absolutely nothing like weed. Because you can disrespect weed and get away with it. You can disrespect, you know, you should not. There's some connoisseurs in here that's like, no, I wouldn't do that. I do this with my blunt. And I do that, and it's a sacrament, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but it could be somebody right beside you and disrespect the same weed. And guess what? Ain't no punishment or ain't no kickbacks. With the mushrooms, if you are disrespectful, it's gonna come quickly, right back to you, that you was being disrespectful, which goes back to set and setting. You find someone you like to be in a relationship with, you like to be intimate with, and they say, okay, and then you take them in the back alley where the trash cans is at. Ain't nothing gonna happen. You take them to the penthouse or the W Hotel in Vegas, anything can happen. It's going to be much royal treatment than you coming and saying, let's go to the back alley. The mushrooms are not for back alley work. And they hold so much technology for us and access to it. Y'all know we exist in 8 different dimensions simultaneously. So it's 7 more of you doing 7 other things right now than listening to me. Less than 3% of our brain, the conscious part of our brain, is active right now. Even the youngest one, how old is he? The one in the yellow. How old are you, big bro? 8. He still got 97% of his conscious mind is interacting with the rest of the universe. Mine too. He got better chance to get to it because he just got here. He only got 8 years of craziness to look at. Not like us old heads. We got all of these different things. He probably believed that faster than somebody else in here. I ain't in no 8 different. Prove it to me. In the Bible it says, in the Quran it says, in the so-and-so it says, where did you read that at? Well, I've been to like 4 of them. Wait a minute, you can't do, how? Well, I took these mushrooms, high dose. You were just getting high. Next thing you could be on heroin. You smoke weed too, don't you? This is where we have to start making our discernment and say, yo, this person is really toxic for my mental. The person that even comes to you like that, that's not supporting you in your dreams, they toxic to your mental, and they not what? They're not honorable. They ain't trying to honor your dreams. Why is it we gotta be looking for somebody? Why I gotta convince somebody to honor my dreams, to honor my passion? Then here goes the last part. My actual experience. I told you what happened. I dropped this many grams, this right here happened. But I can't tell you the rest because they was like, if you ain't done this many, I can't tell you. It is to me, it's the highest form of a sacred society. I remember Doc said one time, he was like, there are no secrets. It's just everything is sacred. We had to keep what's sacred, safe. We keep what's sacred a secret. Because if I just show you, you know what I'm saying, everybody should be growing mushrooms. It's already happened though. It's too late now because jokers from the cannabis game they heard that it's about to be a legalization of mushrooms. So now they want to switch over. We already have grow lights. We already know how to grow. It's plant medicine. Mushrooms ain't plants. Look at your neighbor and say, mushrooms are not plants. Look at your neighbor. Mushrooms ain't plants. Say, mushrooms breathe oxygen. Tell your brother. Say, mushrooms breathe oxygen. Tell him, you know, because he can beat you in basketball. So tell him now about mushrooms. Right. It breathes oxygen. So it's not just a human, it's an extraterrestrial. So now, I got to pull it from that class. It's not even with all the other plants. It came here 4 billion years before humans. Took 3 billion years to eat rocks away to make soil. You know, regular dirt we take for granted. Used to be rocks. Well, how'd you go from rocks to soil? Mushrooms. So they already got all of your intel. They are the library of Alexandria. They are the library of Atlantis. And they got doors that you got to go through there with grips. So here when we have, you know what I'm saying, organizations, we have certain handshakes and things we do, you know, to be like, oh, I can pass. He's in such and such, he knows such and such. Same thing on that side. In my particular experience, that's where it comes from. Because I can do certain things and get passes here. Over there, doors stay shut. You're like, Then you got to sit there and try to figure out how do I get through this door? And what's on the other side of this door? And how much do it cost? What I learned about mushrooms is they ain't got nothing for free for you over there. Nothing for free is over there. And they don't want money. So how do I negotiate? With honor. Go over there without honor at a high dose, it's going to be terrible. There's really not no such thing as a bad trip. Once again, white people, it's bad. I had a bad trip. Don't do it, black folks. Don't none of y'all do it. No, I had a bad trip, so you should not do it. You know why? Because I'm scared of who I am. And I'm really scared you find out who you are. I ain't gonna have shit no more. I ain't gonna be in control or none of that. Give me some more mushrooms then. If that's the case, let me sit down by myself in a dark room and find out who the hell I am. I got to go in. And just off of that, I might have went in the wrong, that might have been the wrong thing to go in about. But once I got in there, all of a sudden stuff started clicking. Now I'm not anti-white, but I am anti-foolishness. And I am anti-culture vulture. And I'm pro-history, and I'm pro-facts. And the facts is we ain't holding on to our stuff like we should. We entrusting other folks to hold. We entrusting our children to hold on to AK-47s, Glocks, you know what I'm saying, live rounds, ammunition, big time magic, and we sitting around here waiting for permission before they can give it to us. And now a shortcut has come. Because I was wondering, why all of a sudden, if these mushrooms are so powerful, are they trying to, you know, is the legalization happening? No, they ain't got shit to do with it. This one right here is a magic play. It's enough honorable people have finally showed up where the Mausoleum said, okay, it's my turn. Some kind of way, even in our own division, going this way, going that way, doing this right here, I'm this, I'm that, enough honor has risen to the top where the magic was like, that's what we need for it to tip over. We just need enough honorable jokers. They ain't got to be on the same team. Let's just get enough honorable folks up here first. You know what I mean? Then, all of a sudden, they start being pulled together by what's the commonality? Y'all took 5 grams of mushrooms. What about you? I took 30. Took 7. Any 9s in here? Any 5s? 5s going one time. 7s. Any 7 grammars in? 7 grammars in. 9 grammars. Any 9 grammars? 9 grammars. 10 grammars. 12 grammars. 15 grammars. 15 grammars. 20 grammars. 20 grammars. Got 20 in the back one time. 22 grams. 24 grams. 25 grams. 30 grams. 30 grams in the back one time for your mind. 30 grams of dry mushrooms in the back. Put your hands together for 30 dry grams of mushrooms. Topping that right there is the spirit of Kalindi up here on the stage. The 40 and the 50. We showed up. You know what I'm saying? Bow down to that right there. Because that takes courage. And the one thing I like about the mushrooms is if you ain't got a lot of courage when you go in, you always come out with more courage than you went in with. You always, I don't care if it went up below 3.5. 3.5 is in the house, 2 grams in the house. 1 gram, microdosing. 8 a cap. Said I took some so I could feel involved. Anybody did that? You know what I'm saying? Yo.
Trying to be cool.
Trying to be cool. You trying to be cool in the house? Trying to be cool? Baba Clinton said he applaud anybody because it took courage for you to take any mushroom. Any. So we ain't fronting on nobody, but it's time for us to congratulate. Oh, girl, your hair look good. Oh, your eyebrows is laid. You took 10 grams of mushrooms. We supposed to be applauding everything across the board. You know what I'm saying? Versus like, I mean, all that, man. The ritual, I see you at the mounds, killing it. Crows looking fierce. Woo. I seen you doing such and such, man. The album came out. Bam. Oh, the beard ointment. You know what I'm saying? The new sunrises that's on the way for the dreadlocks. That's a plug. I'm trying to get a sun visor that says God in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? I'm really tired of y'all with small amounts of hair and little heads always making baseball caps when you start aligning clothes. Let's start something new, y'all. Okay? Big head niggas with a lot of hair can't wear a hat that say God in the flesh. That's for real. They ain't got my size. I'm not putting on a 9. I'm not putting on a 9 hat. He ain't gonna sell the 3, so he's not gonna make them. Just make some sun visors, bro. Prejudice says that's what your ball. That's the ball is. It's really what it is. That's what y'all did. You belong to the company. You took your little sexy ass hat. My cousin. Why you ain't make no sun visors yet, bro? I thought we was here. I can't do what you do. He got the beard too. I say y'all do too much. That's just a side note, you know what I'm saying? You know, for folks who got people with hair, y'all make some noise. See that, y'all can come in and just dominate us like that.
Why they keep on calling my name? Jill.